Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to talk about how I help my client, VelixAI, book 20 qualified demos in just about 2 months and how they closed 3 deals from it and had 7 more move to the next stage in their pipeline. So just a little bit about myself. You can call me Shaw, like Shawshank Redemption. And I run a cold email lead gen company that helps B2B companies book another 15 qualified meetings every month. That's my company's website. This is our YouTube channel and my LinkedIn. So in this case study, what I'm going to do is break down everything that we did, starting from the strategy to the total addressable market, the type of offer, analysis based on their current sales process. By the way, they had a very long sales process, which had to be shortened. And then creating multiple angles from the offer type and writing cold email copy based on the different ICPs. So in this video, we're going to talk about the 3 main ICPs that they have, and we're going to go from there. And what are the tools that we use to scrape the leads? And what are the additional points we used for enrichment, etc. And we're also going to talk about like inbox management, what we did for, the qualification process. How do we know if a demo that is being booked is like actually qualified or not, etc. And then you have campaign results and what are the things that we did to course correct our approach. One thing to note here is that VelixAI, they did not reach out to cold traffic with this offer. They just haven't. So when it comes to strategy and total addressable market assessment, you got to know what VelixAI does. They offer advanced voice AI tech that functions as a virtual receptionist. So if a company has an incredibly large incoming call volume and they're prone to missing them, let's say someone's talking on the phone and there's another call that comes in, they can handle all of that while the person is taking the calls. Or if it's maybe after business hours, this is exactly how they would prevent that from happening. So the target buyers for Felix AI, we started off with restaurant owners, and now we are going into dental practices and legal services. So just to show you guys the industry potential for the restaurants is there are so many restaurants in the US market that are facing like staffing shortages, which is very important to note because that's one of the angles that we're going to use. And an average restaurant misses like 15% of incoming calls, especially during peak hours. Let's say you want to like reserve a table, there's just nobody there, and it's like one of your favorite restaurants. You just like so badly want to eat there, and you call them ahead. It's like the AI does it for you. So, and the next thing is for like the dental practice. There are so many dental offices in the US struggling with like front desk efficiency. And an average practice misses 30% of those incoming calls. And of those 30%, majority of them are from primary new patients. And each new patient is like up to $1,000 in lost revenue. Some doctors are looking at this as like a humanitarian thing that they want to do good. So for them, once we analyzed it, we had to position ourselves as someone enhancing customer experience. And that's exactly what we did. And then the practices that spend around, 40,000 plus looking for a front desk staff could, you know, potentially use this AI solution and look at the notes. And those were angles that we considered as well. Now we're venturing into the legal services. So as you can see, there are so many law firms in the United States alone, and they're facing client intake challenges. 41% of potential clients call outside of business hours. So let me just give you guys an example. Let's say there is a personal injury law firm. So they take calls regarding accidents and stuff like that. And their business hours is usually from like 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the United States, as far as I know. But let's say you're driving down the interstate, something terrible happens, you get in an accident. The first thing you would call is probably 911, but after that, you'd want to get in touch with the insurance company and you'd want to get in touch with an attorney that can help you with claims, etc. So when you call them outside of their working hours, you're just going to leave a voicemail. So these are points that can be used. You're just going to leave a voicemail. And when you leave a voicemail, you're probably going to only hear back the next day or maybe the next business day, right? So in cases like that, it's very important to note how this solution bridges the gap between their current solution, their current situation, and their desired solution. So to identify the market penetration strategy, the first primary target was dental practices. High call volume, they need structured information gathering requirements, significant ROI that's being captured from each new patient call, and there's an industry-wide staffing challenge, which we're going to get to later down the line. And these dental practices, they have a very short sales cycle. I mean, just look at it as a business. They have a very short sales cycle compared to other verticals. And then we had law firms as like the secondary target, and then restaurants. See, the thing with restaurants and cold outreach is that they're just so hard to get a hold of. Like, I don't know if you've ever noticed, it's so hard to email a restaurant owner and them actually replying to your email. It's just very hard. So after that, we did a little bit of research on the decision makers, identified who they are, what's the type of persona to go after with the dental practice. And after that, we calculated the total addressable market, and we found out the total email reachable prospects. And once this was done, we split the email accounts into 60% Microsoft and 40% Google so we could do the ESP matching. And we put all of these accounts on the Smart Lead. We implemented the 15-day warm-up protocol. Yeah, we actually missed one day. We thought we did it a day later, and we ended up warming our accounts for 15 days. Well, stuff happens. Anyway, so their offer type and analysis based on their current sales process. So their sales process was 12 to 13 weeks long, from like the initial contact to like signing the contract and implementation and stuff like that. And their demo to close conversion was like pretty low. Even though they had like a lot of interest, it's pretty low. Whenever you sell something to cold traffic, you can't just say, oh, innovative AI tech, cutting edge technology. That just talks about the service, and that's just talking about some fluff words. It's not talking about what the actual offer is. The offer is exactly what we need to talk about in cases like this. So the strategic offer reconstruction, we just focused on getting a very, very low risk, note my words, low risk, foot in the door offers that doesn't require a lot of implementation from their end. So we had like a discovery offer, a call capture assessment, and then a transition offer, like a 30-day. So it was more like a foot in the door offer and then a service based lead magnet type of thing, which, was like a one time payment that they do. You take care of all the software, etc. And then the core solution, which is like the complete voice AI receptionist that does the full implementation across all incoming call channels, custom conversation flows tailored to like specific practice needs. Let's say some dental practice focuses only on like the braces or like, Invisalign, whatever. So the company would tailor conversation specific to that. And from like the sales process integration standpoint, the initial discovery calls are now focused on handling current challenges rather than talking about their own, great AI tech that they're using. And the next thing is shifting the focus from like what the tech can do to creating a low risk entry point was like the most important thing that we did. That in itself gave so much leverage onto the people that we contacted. And creating multiple angles from like the offer type is where we came up with a multi-dimensional value proposition for the voice AI receptionist. The core value proposition is that it ensures every incoming call is answered in a professional manner, gathers the information and accurately captures it, and then the customer experience is enhanced, all while reducing the workload on the existing staff. That's the value proposition. So now we just have to put numbers in it to make sure that this thing sells. So The first angle, so we had like four angles that we came up with. The first angle was to never miss another revenue opportunity, because missed calls equals missed revenue. That's one of the angles that we ran. The second angle was more on staff relief and retention solutions. So, this is where we have to understand that there is an industry wide staffing shortage, especially for the dental practices. It is very important to note that this is the thing. Again, you'll only know this once you do market research. If you don't do any market research, you're not going to know what they're even about. So, research is key, research is important. And then the third angle that we used was enhancing the patient experience, you know, 24/7 accessibility without adding staff costs. Because if a dental practice has to be accepting calls 24/7, the dentist might think, or the dental group might think, okay, then we have to put staff 24/7. That's not the case. The AI does not sleep. I don't know if it does, but if it does, then we're all cooked. Anyway, the fourth angle is practice intelligence and optimization. This was an angle that, just a little bit of spoiler alert, we never saw a lot of success with the fourth angle, so we just dropped it. So when we were implementing it, we started off by cutting their 5 email sequence into a 2 to 3 email sequence, and we split initial messaging by practice profiles. So some practices are like growth focused. Some dental practices are like dental groups, and they're already established. They have like 10 plus dentists working in a big space, etc. And then we had messaging specific for people that are going through staff challenges. So these are intent signals that we pulled. Of course, you had to do it. And then some dental practices want to put priority towards patient experience. So we put them in a separate bucket as well. And we were A B testing the messaging across all the angles to identify message resonance with specific practice types and sizes. And then the follow up sequence was just tailored to the initial engagement indicators. We just pushed more on their pain in the follow up messaging. And we just did like a controlled test, 1,000 prospects on angles 1, 2, and 3. Four did, as I said, four did not produce like very good results. So we just left it. So revenue impact messaging, 31% higher response rate, which was very good. And then the staff relief messaging produced like higher demo show rates, which is wonderful. And then the patient experience messaging. So practices that are in very, urban markets, they charge a lot of money, right? So the staff that they have, they'd have to pay more to the staff as well, and all while enhancing the patient experience. So that's the angle that we ran there. So this allowed us to have multiple sales conversations to begin with in the most compelling value dimension, all while maintaining the flexibility to pivot to secondary benefits based on the discovery call insights. So whenever we pulled insights from any of these dental practices, we just updated the CRM with that information. So the CRM that was used here is Pipedrive. Just wanted to put that out there. And writing the cold email copy based on the different ICPs. So we just had 3 simple frameworks. First one, question for you. Created a detailed call analysis report covering strategy. We implemented for case study, which helped them get X amount of annual revenue in the last whatever. Would you be open to learning more? So the CTAs were always very soft. The tone that we used was like, very conversational. It's not like we're hard pitching anyone. Hey, would you like the 15-minute call with no. We never did any of that. Framework 2 is by far my favorite. The reason is because this thing was cooking beyond anything. Quick question, first name. That's what we started with. Interested in a 3-day missed call analysis for your practice? We did this, and we added the PS line with a case study. It was cooking. And then the third framework is more into how many new patient calls is there. So it's more like diving into their pain, etc., etc. And then for the restaurants, we didn't test that much because we saw a lot of like good replies that we got from the dental practices alone. So I just want to show you the results that we got there. So The first framework had a 10% success rate. So, like the positive replies that we got, 10% of it was from framework one. Framework three had 15% positive reply rate. But framework two, like I said, was cooking. It was a very good foot in the door offer that was just amazing. And coming to leadsless scraping and additional enrichment, we used Apollo and Outscraper primarily. So for dental practices, we use those filters like dentistry, dental practice, dental care. We focused on company headcounts from 11 to 50. We never went more than that. And our initial focus was on, metropolitan areas with like 500,000 plus people. And job titles, these were the job titles that we went with for anyone that has some sort of a decision making authority or decision making capability. And so for like tech, we split tested this as well to see what are some softwares that they were using, and then we just, filtered accordingly. And then for legal services, this is what we plan on doing, which is go after 11 to 200 legal services, professional services, and put keywords like law firm, etc. And then major metro areas. So I do say that we're focusing on small to mid-sized firms, but we are also going towards like the mid-market law practice as well, because the call volume for there is going to be extremely large, and they would need an AI solution, like a voice AI solution, to handle those calls. And the job titles were managing partner, office manager, firm administrator, and just along those lines is where we went. And then the tech signals is just the case management softwares that they use. And we split tested this as well. And after that, we use like those Boolean search operators like and or to like find out which are the keywords that are there. And we just got a really precise list even from Apollo itself, which was very good. And then we complemented that approach with Outscraper. And what we did was we went to Google Maps, scraped all the information that we can get, and we even went to analyze their review patterns and understand the sentiment analysis and everything. So we did a lot over there as well. And then we started enriching the data and verification process. So we had like cross-referencing the phone numbers across multiple sources, making sure the email addresses were like passed through Million Verifier and then put in through like a catch-all like Scrubby or Enrichly. So initially we were using Scrubby, and now we're moving to Enrichly because of how quick the results that we get from Enrichly is, and the accuracy is almost the same, if not slightly better, at least from my experience for this project alone. And then business intelligence, we just added like a financial health indicator from like public records, whatever that we can scrape. We had all of that. And then we identified like the decision makers, just made sure that they are the person to reach out to and they are still working at that specific practice. And after that, we did a prioritizing scoring matrix. And here we just separated them by levels of seniority and corrected our approach and tuned the messaging for that specific role that they had. And so this is the implementation results that we have. We initially pulled 6840 prospects across the industries. Actually, it's just across the two industries because we only went after dental and restaurants. And then we had fully verified contacts after the enrichment process that was like 5310. And then we had 4425 high priority targets meeting that ideal criteria. And that is what you guys would call market qualified leads. And then we just had these many selected for initial campaign deployment. So about 5 to 600 of them, we couldn't, get their actual emails like verified on time because we were using Scrubby. So we had to wait those 48 to 72 hours. And what we did during that time is just go after those people by phone call. And we had a very good email deliverability rate because we had the ESP matching going for us, where we did Google inboxes to Google inboxes, Microsoft inboxes sending to Microsoft inboxes, which was pretty good. And the copy that we used was also sub 40 words. So I was, was just really good. And regarding inbox management and qualification, one thing that you guys need to know is the copy was not in English. Although I did write the copy myself in English, it was converted to Czech, the language spoken in Czech Republic, because my client wanted to deploy that first over there and then, expand the markets, expand the geographical market that he was going after. So regarding the email response management, we just followed like very standard and just industry standard protocols for inbox management. And what we did was speed to lead was very, very important. All the positive replies within 5 minutes. Oh my God, not 5 hours. Yeah, that was supposed to be 5 minutes. I don't know why I put 5 business hours. So all the positive responses that we got, we replied with personalized stuff within 5 minutes. So the speed to lead was so crucial over here, and we didn't really like test anything what would happen if we waited more than 5 minutes long or anything like that. We just went straight bam 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 bam, and the responses had to be in Czech. So I had to teach my client how to respond whenever he gets a reply like this, etc. And then to maximize the effectiveness, we had like a priority flagging system to basically say if this lead is not supposed to be in the ideal category, why are they there? And then they went through another, loop, like a decision loop. And then if we found out that there are many more like them, we just remove them from the alpha list that we sent out. And after that, we just had the email to call conversion process. So this is where we put them through the step of nurture. And once they were nurtured, they were good to go into the qualification process for those calls. So we just had like a 3-tier qualification assessment. The first one was like the basic business fit, that they meet the initial call volume to even have our system in place. So a minimum of 25 plus missed calls daily, supposed to be missed. And then next is the problem validation. So how many missed opportunities do they have? And do they have any metrics to show for it? And what about like implementation readiness? Has the decision maker already thought about putting a system in place? What did he think about, et cetera, et cetera? And after that, we had like a qualification conversation approach. So we just started going after the current state. Like, could you walk me through how your practice is currently handling incoming calls, especially during busy periods or after hours? Questions like this, we started asking them and they started giving us answers. And all of this information, once it was captured, we just put all of it into the CRM. We put all of it into Pipedrive. We added an extra field for additional notes, and all of that information was put in there. And then we had 186 positive replies from the campaign that we sent above. 142 qualification phone calls were completed, and 89 of them were qualified for solution demonstration. They passed all of these 3 tiers for the qualification. And after that, we had 73 fully qualified opportunities for like the discovery process. So 20 of those qualified demonstrations are now complete, and we still have 25 more that need to go through and schedule a time and everything. So you would call this a meeting ready lead, because they're showing interest, they're qualified, and they want to schedule a conversation. And 3 deals were closed. I'm not going to talk about how much revenue it is. And 7 additional opportunities advancing through the pipeline. And implementing this streamlined approach, we were able to like ensure every interested prospect received like a proper professional follow-up while maintaining the efficiency of the system that we built. After that, we started looking into the campaign results and looked for areas to course correct our approach. So the pipeline results, this is what we had. Like I said, 186 positive replies, 45 of them that are meeting ready leads, A, they're interested, B, they're qualified, C, they're wanting to schedule a call. And 20 of those qualified demos have been completed, and we've sent out 10 proposals. So as you can see, you can already see like how the 10 is even, you know, it comes over here. So 3 of those were closed, 7 are in that offer stage of the pipeline. And regarding course correction, we just had to change like the variables that we talked about above is the email copy. So I'm just going to talk about 2 of the main things that we did. So if you see up here, sorry for my aggressive scrolling. If you see up here, we had these 3 frameworks, right? We tested different subject lines to see which one incentivized them to open the email. And then once we know that this was the framework that was working, we tested to see, hey, if we just send a subject line, a body, and then the signature without the PS line, what are we getting? So we split tested the winning combination here as well. And we also split tested the messaging by calling this a different name, like missed call analysis. We put like missed opportunity analysis. We were testing a bunch of different things to see which one is the winner, which one is the winner. And once all of that was done, we were able to course correct our approach, and we were able to maximize the effectiveness of the system that we built. So once all of that was done, we saw a lot of statistics, and I had my own dashboard that I showed him. I was like, hey, we did this, and this, and now here we are, So if you guys want to read through everything that I did for this client, I'm more than happy to share this Gamma doc with you. All you have to do is just DM me on LinkedIn. You can find my LinkedIn. I'm going to put it on the description. You guys are going to see it. DM me on LinkedIn, ask me for this, and I'm not going to ask you to book a call with me or anything like that. I'll just give it to you if that's what you're looking for. But if you do want to book a call, I'm more than happy to speak with you and see where your company's at right now, see how we can help, etc. So again, thank you for staying with me for almost 27, 28 minutes. I'll speak with you guys soon.